Musing While Boozing. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I know.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
Merry Christmas.
Merry ho-ho.
Merry ho-ho from the Musing While Boozing crew. This is our Christmas spectacular.
Spectacular episode.
And we use the term spectacular very loosely because what do we watch? We watch the holiday spectacular
Star Wars.
Dun, 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 dun. That's right, as the whole world is out watching Star Wars, what's a return?
I don't know.
I don't know what the name is.
But I will see it.
Star Wars 8. Yes, you can take my money. You have my money. And we thought, you know what? Might as well get some pity tags on that Star Wars hashtag. Maybe get us a couple more viewers. And we're going to do a Star Wars Christmas episode. And this is it.
Found something unique.
Mike and I shared a little Christmas present before the episode. Of course, we were also partaking with the Brazen Hall.
The brown ale.
Fantastic beer. Again, thank you to the partners at Brazen Hall. Yeah. This stuff was great.
Great.
And then this episode is also being brought to you by the official sock sponsor of Musing While Boozing.
RADSOCKS.
That's right. RADSOCKS.CA. Mike and I are both currently rocking our newest pair here. They are fantastic, incredibly soft, funky colors, cool designs, and you can get 20% off at RADSOCKS.CA/podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, I'll get you a couple bucks off the monthly subscriptions. That'd be fantastic. Otherwise, everybody, again, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. I'm sure if you're hearing this, we do not anticipate this to be a huge episode. Not due to quality, just due to product placement.
Product placement.
Scheduling is everything, and this is the one that drew the Christmas Eve short straw. So I think there will be a gap, and I think this is why people do seasons now that you think about it.
Yes, they do.
Anyways, well, enjoy, people.
See you in the new year.
See you in the new year. Bye.
Musing While Boozing. Because the best thinking happens while drinking. Hot topics over cold drinks.
What are we doing here?
Well, there's the credits. We just saw them roll.
Oh, that was quite the time.
Star Wars, the holiday special, is now in the bag. I think it was the first full viewing. I use the term full loosely for Mike and I.
I made it.
Yeah, with assistance. Whew. Whoop is right. As our new and first and last time tradition here at Musing While Boozing, what we've done is we just thought we would burn through and watch the Star Wars Holiday Edition, as the rest of the country is currently out at Star Wars movies right now.
Yes.
What we did is we went and ripped down a copy. Didn't steal it because there are no legitimate copies out there. But
it doesn't exist.
This one was a VHS copy, obviously, and it had the commercials from the actual original broadcast, which was hilarious. I'd actually talk a little bit more with that later. Let's try and keep loosely organized today. So
what are your overall thoughts of the movie?
Well, let's talk about pre-production.
Pre-production, yes.
And by that, this can be a loose interpretation of production, but... Okay, so they made this movie in what year?
1978?
That's right, 1978. Star Wars Holiday Spectacular. I'm already changing the name.
Holiday Special. Star Wars Christmas Special. Yes.
Although, I wouldn't trust this pirated name on there.
Yeah, 1978. Well,
they made it for one reason only. They wanted to license the rights to Star Wars out to anyone who would make something to keep it top of mind.
At top of mind, eh?
Well, you know why? Because back then, there were no such things as sequels. There was previously been The Godfather and The Godfather 2 and The Godfather 3, which are different stories, but there was the idea of a science fiction sequel didn't exist,
yeah.
So they went out there.
So it was cutting edge.
So the studio panicked, and they wanted people to be aware of Star Wars, because although we can't remember, there'd only been one movie, and the toys had just been released, and that was it. So is it going to last? Is it going to fade out? Is it over?
Freaking IPO.
Yeah, pretty much IPO, initial penner offering. So anyways, done in 1978. They licensed out this group. It was a American movie, had Canadian content with the cartoon.
Oh yeah, the cartoon.
Yes.
I would have watched that if I was old enough.
The very first appearance of iconic Star Wars character,
Earl Jones?
oh, Boba Fett. Yeah.
Okay, so Boba Fett, yeah. And you know what? Luke thought he was good in the beginning. And then his world was turned within one episode.
Yes, he was burnt.
Yes, he was Darth Vader's right-hand man.
So, like I was saying, they made this movie, they broadcast it once.
On CBS by the looks of it.
Yes, definitely on CBS by those commercials. So people know the story of the Star Wars Holiday Spectacular. Broadcast it once. It was, to say it mildly, poorly received.
Whew.
George Lucas, who did not have final cut approval or any type of approval and was not the director, was shown the movie, and allegedly,
Yes.
he was irate.
Jesus.
He whipped his lightsaber out. He's like,
Yeah.
that's it.
I will destroy you.
That is no moon. That is a space station. And
Yeah, I can understand why. I mean,
so he was pissed.
So he was, a little bit.
And
perturbed.
of course, the other actors, they signed 3-picture deals. Again, the idea of sequels wasn't there, so they were out there just trying to make a buck. And it was in their contracts; they had to appear in all official Star Wars material.
Ooh.
So even though George Lucas didn't have to be involved with this,
Yeah.
they did.
So
This was an official Star Wars story until Disney bought it
Yeah.
and erased all previous stuff that happened or allegedly happened before the original Star Wars movie, because they bought the continuity of the Star Wars movie, so it doesn't fit in there like some fan novels or some of the role-playing games they had. Then Disney says it goes under the Star Wars Legends, and it no longer exists.
Yeah, Lucas, farewell.
The Legends of Star Wars, and that's where this falls. So now that Disney had bought, and this is considered, outside
their territory?
outside the canon is the term. Outside the canon of official Star Wars, that this is goes under the Star Wars Legends. But Disney does technically own the rights to this beautiful piece of shit that we watch this movie.
They do own it?
Well, Disney owns.
They bought it?
But yeah, Disney bought Star Wars. So I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah, but
For $5
is this
billion.
considered a Star Wars?
It is. It's official. It was officially licensed. This is an official movie. Yes.
But this was a special. It was a show that was like back in the day, like Saturday Night Live.
No, this was a one-time. No, this was that movie of the week.
Oh yeah, CBS special.
Very subtle.
Well, they called it in my age. Eh?
Yeah, so CBS. Anyway, so yeah, they had it taken care of by licensing out the characters. So this was officially whatever. Problem is, they didn't really. I guess George Lucas, no one had any oversight on the script, and when people are handing the script, the people are reading it were just money going, yeah, that sounds like a science fiction story.
Yeah.
And yada yada yada. When it came out, he disavowed it. The actors looked back and said it was not their proudest work, and Disney would just rather it doesn't exist. They don't even, if you bring it up, they're gonna kick your ass.
Yeah,
So that's our take on the making of the movie. I mean, it was made in '78. It was done. It was rushed. It was made in a very short period of time to get out just before the Christmas season, because back then the movies only came out in the summer, and they had to fill the void till next year to release Empire Strikes Back.
You had a very short period of success.
So let's talk about the artistic integrity of this cinematic masterpiece, as you will.
Well, everything was in a red filter, which is kind of loving and feeling. And,
I also think it's because we were watching something that was a copy off of the VHS tape. That's probably 30 years old, but the coloring in general, the quality is awful.
Regardless, if you ignore the quality of the video, because that was back in the day, right? 420p was good.
The technical quality, and you dive into the quality of, say...
Oh, the acting was just superb. It was like a British show from,
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who was pretty close. The acting quality, quite the same. Stiff, rigid. You can tell, well-rehearsed, reading the lines.
I don't know if Mike's describing porn for this movie, but either way, he's right. The acting was... the worst.
It was nice to see their faces, the stars.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're getting to see people. It looked like, it had come out in the last couple of years that Carrie Fisher at this time was Of course, living the high life.
Yeah, she loved life.
Love life, love coke.
Yeah.
So starting coke
Big
up.
fan.
Dead hooker's ass. And
How else do you stay like good looking like that? Hey, good looking.
well, she was 19. That's what she was saying. When she
19?
when she made this movie, yeah. Like really young.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Jesus.
I just broke my neck.
Jesus, let's move on.
And so I think this was right in the middle of her drug phase because she just got her money from Star Wars, was going to Empire. Yeah. She was partying, she was known, she was a Hollywood elite.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so it means I think the snowman was on her shoulder.
The snowman.
And as well, she admitted in her book there, just before she allegedly died of natural causes,
yes,
is the fact that she was having an affair with Harrison Ford at this time, where he was married to his first wife, Mrs. Ford.
Yeah, Ford.
definitely Ford. And then she was, a young teenager, and he was all up on that Princess Leia. So that's a little bit of picture behind the scenes about what we saw here. Now on to what things we picked out of the entire recording in general.
What I felt was you had to be
high.
You had to be high to actually enjoy at a very small level the movie.
It was
I don't imagine if you were sober through the whole thing that you would come out alive.
Well, I think what it tells you though is how much influence your environment has on what parents think are okay, because remember this was the 70s.
Yeah.
And just like if you watch any of the TV shows from back then, or kids shows, the one that I love is always references House of Frightenstein, which was all just like the Wolfman, and
fear guided you.
Oh, yes, this was
good, evil, based in religion.
Oh, whoa!
How did I get in that?
Things just got tight here in the man cave. No, it was my point.
Chill, motherfucker.
Chill. Just take a chill pill. Take a chill wafer. The point being that in the 70s, weird was like normal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You look back, it's just like,
because if you dressed good, you could be whatever you wanted to be, because as long as you dressed whatever, you're all right. Your big bell bottoms, colorful pants.
Like if you look the part,
yes, you could do whatever you wanted.
You ran the town. When a pig was your oyster. But in this case, I don't know. This case.
Like, I can tell you the best part of the movie was the cartoon that they injected in there that I had no idea existed.
Made out of Toronto.
Yeah.
Nelvana Cartoon Studios, based in Toronto, did a little cartoon vignette in the middle of the Star Wars Holiday Special, and it used Boba Fett for the first time.
Yes, Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. I think we already talked about this guy. I got a feeling. I got a deja vu right now.
We've been talking about it all evening, because that was the only conversational point about this whole movie, besides how bad it was the fact that...
But all I know is that Boba Fett was good in the episode, and by the end of the TV show, he was bad.
Yeah,
and he was Luke's enemy.
I think he was a double crosser, is what he was in the cartoon.
Yeah.
But, and to be clear, I'd have to go back and watch it, and I don't think we're getting paid enough to do that.
I think he actually, and that's the way he is in the movies nowadays, right? That's who he is.
So that pretty much covers the two notes we took on the movie. But the good part is that throughout the copy we were watching was an actual dub from a 1978 VHS tape, which who owned VCRs? 1978.
Oh yeah, Sony didn't exist really back then, did they?
I think they did, but
they call it a different name. They call it a different name back then.
You say potato, I say potato.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was. Well,
there was Beta.
Oh yes,
which came out a few years after VHS. But
but this was definitely VHS quality.
Yeah.
And it was the Star Wars movie. And it was bad.
That's back in the day of the wired remotes. So you have that connected up 30 feet of wire, 2 buttons, go back.
Yeah. It only really did have a couple buttons on there. That was it. So you could sit back with your 30 feet of cable.
Yeah, 30 feet of cable, not get off the couch. Who needs wireless, right? Who needs Wi-Fi? Who needs Bluetooth?
I got it.
A lot of extra signals.
Good cover there.
All right.
Commercials.
Yeah.
We were watching an episode, the show, the recording, that had the original commercials that happened to be playing on
CBS.
CBS on WGGN in 1978.
Back in 1978. And these are real commercials, and they are...
So we want to maybe talk about a few things. One of the first ones that hit us was the fact that they were playing promos for the other TV shows, and which ones do you remember?
Other TV shows?
Yeah. Remember All in the Family?
All in the Family, yes, that's right.
For another day. Those were the days.
Holy Christ.
Archie Bunker.
Yeah, Archie Bunker.
And we also had Dallas.
Good old Dallas. Everybody loved Dallas.
I remember watching
freaking JR. He was the man.
The first thing I thought of is that at Gracie's Christmas concert, they actually, I'm listening to band, I realized they don't play the Dallas theme anymore.
Because nobody knows what the hell it is.
That's what I mean. We have aged past that, so God bless the Dallas theme. May it rest in peace.
Who, Bobby?
All the orange horns. But the show actually was being... And the other funny moment that we saw...
Just back to the JR thing. Did you ever see the end of JR? Dallas?
Bobby walks out of the shower.
Yeah, do you know what happens to JR?
Yeah. Died of a liver failure.
Oh, yeah, in real life, maybe.
It doesn't go well for him.
He was a freaking devil.
Oh,
yeah. JR was a devil in the end. I hope I didn't spoil this for anybody.
Spoilers from shows from 30 years ago. Spoiler alert. Dallas is over and Larry Hagman's dead, but is that too soon? Wait, it's been 10 years. We also saw the commercials for unions.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of pro-union shop.
What struck me as funny was even the GM commercial. They didn't advertise their card R. They talked about their labor force, their process, and their people, and they were showing about, how they make the cars was weird because everything was hand touched. There wasn't a goddamn roll. They went focus.
How the guys, they especially, they're right on the line. They're dusting and oiling.
Yeah, my grandfather turned these rivets. Yeah, my dad turned these rivets, and my son will turn these rivets. 4 years later, the big auto slowdown.
Yeah, that's.
So a big union. So then one union even had its own commercial on the show, and that would be the powerful, rock solid, the union, ILGW, the International Ladies Garment Wear Union. Where these people, they only worked in panties, and they wanted to protect their job.
Yeah, they were willing to work.
Because no one...
Hard.
They were hard. They were working long shifts in the panty department.
That was basically the commercial. It was really freaking weird, man. It was
very...
The only women's union. I'm like, holy shit. And this was what, from the 1930s?
It started in the 20s and 30s, and when it was predominantly women, or especially early, I guess, because all the guys were at the war, so the ladies were the ones working in the factories.
Doing the clothes for the boys.
Rosie the Riveter. So.
And then they got consumed by another company in 1995. So
that's a big skip, yeah. They started in the 20s, and then they were in between. They did grow and employed a lot of women. Well, not employed their union, but they represented a lot of women in the workforce. Yes. So I'm sure did great things. But I'm just inferring this for women's rights or what have you, because the union still technically exists today. They joined up another union and created
Unite.
Unite.
Yes. Unite.
which is
that's a powerful word. I actually feel like I'd want to be part of that union. It seems very good.
I don't want to be. Do you say you want to be part of a union? That's you. You are stuck in union.
Union. No, I. You know what? I can do both worlds.
The other.
I'm like a snake.
So Jake the Snake. The other commercial that made you laugh because none of it actually technically exists anymore. The whole monopoly's gone. Everything was the Bell telephone commercials.
Oh yeah! The Bell, yes.
Just buy an
original Bell telephone.
I remember growing up, it was always making sure. I remember when it became you didn't have to buy your phone from MTS.
Yes.
And you didn't have to pay rent at least one anymore in your house. And then when they changed that rule, they never went around and notified everybody. So all these people, like my grandparents, were paying rent on a click rotary phone.
Yeah, good old Bell.
For years. Back then it was probably like $1 a month or something. Maybe.
They must have had Nortel, man. Like at some point, somebody had to replace that original.
But the commercial was for selling the actual phones, and our kids won't even recognize the fact, even though that's still a picture of the call on your phone, but the handle with the big,
the Bell.
Yeah, with the wheel.
Oh, the wheel! I know the wheel.
Yeah, well, our kids will never know that wheel.
Oh Christ! They don't even use a phone. They don't give a shit what's that.
Sound like old man. Fuckers don't even call anymore. Wait, you don't have grandkids yet. You're fine. But the phone and the look and heft of that phone reminded me of a story. I thought we should take a moment here and I could tell that story.
Oh, I'd like to hear your story.
Okay, because technically it isn't my story. It's a story that was related to me from another man who told a story.
Oh, yes.
And this story...
Did it involve a rubby bin?
No.
Okay.
It involved... Yes, it involved panties.
That sounds interesting.
So what happened here was that this happens... I'll set the setting for you. Think like ski lodge.
Yeah.
And think staff quarters.
I don't know that.
Explain
to me a little more. Give me a little more.
Remember when we stayed in Fernie and we stayed in those rubby bins with...
Are you talking about the hostels?
Hostel, yes.
Jesus. Yeah, we stayed in a log cabin with some beds that were propped up.
In those back of those skis, all the staff, like those Germans and Australians stuff, they all live in these little tiny bunkers.
Oh yeah, like 8 people to a room.
Yeah. Anyway, so this was...
And that was legal. I don't know if that's legal.
Probably just stick them in there like...
You stick them in there as many as you can get in there. And
stick in the muffler.
Yeah.
So... Staff quarters, teenagers, they're partying up, and this one guy, he was younger than the other people in the staff. We'll call him like Dave.
Dave, yeah.
Poor Dave.
Poor Dave.
He's got some older friends work at the staff quarters, and he's the only virgin, or he might be the only one. But it slipped out that he was a virgin. I was like, so they went this...
Are you telling me a story or like a real a live event? What the hell is going on here?
So...
Where are we headed?
So Dave... Hold on. Remember, the Bell telephones. So Dave meets this girl, Yolanda or something, and they're...
It was something like that, though. That's the funny thing.
Well, he wanted to, take her back to his luxurious staff quarters, and then, of course, things progressed, and clothes were lost, and, things took its natural course.
Yeah.
Thing is, Yolanda had a little bit more experience than Dave, so she was being bossy.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, come on, Dave, slap me. She's like, slap my ass. And he's like, what? And Yolanda's like, slap my ass. And she's like, okay. And then, so she yells... It's like she was a freak. She looks over her shoulder. Yeah. She's staring at Dave. Dave's trying to do his thing. Remember, it's your first time, so things are going to be moving along at a quick pace here. And she's like, hit me. And he's like, what?
Is this real?
Yes.
Is this fucking real? Or based on real live events? Or? And
then she's like, hit me. And he's like, okay. And then she just said, come on. And he looked over, and beside the bed, like he's mid-thrust. And beside the bed is one of those old phones, like the
Bell.
He picked it up and just clocked her across the back of the head.
No, what? I don't I don't understand this at all. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's fake. Like, well, I understand the Bell phone thing, but I just, I don't really get, I understand, like, start to end Bell phone, but the in-between doesn't quite make sense. I'm not quite sure.
You gotta focus on the details here.
You're saying.
So he clocked her with the phone?
Yes. And it called somebody? Did it call somebody?
No, but she's on all fours, and she just collapsed forward because she was knocked out.
Yeah. And then what? He hammered her? Or... Like,
no, he was freaking out. It's his first time. He thought he killed her.
Yeah.
So he just jumped on the bed and he ran into the main room. He's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh." She comes over. She's like, "Ugh."
And he phoned 911 on his Bell phone?
No.
Did he even have 911 back then?
It was just 911. But long and short of it is, we saw a commercial for Bell phones, and that's the story.
That's what you remember. Some fucked up story from fucking who knows when.
That's the story that comes to my head.
And I don't even know if that was a real story or a dream. Like, shit.
Anytime that I see a old-fashioned phone, I think of the ski lodge and Dave.
I'll tell you this: anytime I see or hear a ringing of a standard phone, I think, oh my god, if I could just stick somebody's finger in there.
That's actually try on mine. It's got 5 9s in it. What else do we see? We saw a commercial for Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson.
What was Reggie pimping?
Oh Jesus, I don't even know what sport he was in. Baseball?
He was baseball. Yeah, he was standing with the baseball bat. And he was selling his
Yankees,
Cubs.
No,
I didn't know that.
No, let's refer to our notes.
Sorry, Chi Sox. Chicago White Sox.
Everybody's wrong here. Let's refer back to my notes.
Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, White Sox. Okay, yes, thank God.
Okay. Speaking of socks.
We don't want to give you wrong information.
Speaking of socks, Mike got his package. Thank you again. RADSOCKS.CA.
RADSOCKS.
These guys are now the official pimpmeisters of the feet of Musing While Boozing. So they got us at ground level. They got in at the ground level.
At the ground level.
With Musing While Boozing. So
I'm looking at your sock right now and I see a
planets.
Planet.
Astronauts, yeah. Looks like a hot dog. I go
Looks
for a hot dog
pretty
right
cool.
now.
Looks like that Hawaiian asteroid that just passed through our solar system that everybody thought had life but didn't.
And we're going to get a pair every month for 1 year.
Really?
Every month. Yeah, they show up. That's a RADSOCKS.CA subscription service.
That's pretty cool.
And our listeners can now go to the website. I checked it out. It works. You go to RADSOCKS.CA/podcasts.
Yes. And you get...
Podcast, no S. And you will get 20% off lifetime subscription.
Holy. What's that cost you roughly a month?
Roughly after the discount, about $12.
That's pretty sweet.
That's like $6 a foot. That's what you pay at Subway.
That's what you pay at Subway.
For $6
you got
a
foot. $6.
You can have some kick-ass socks. So shout out again to RADSOCKS.CA.
Sounds like a fucking awesome time.
So back to the story about the White Sox. He played for the White Sox, Reggie.
We
saw his commercial.
Yeah, he had a chocolate bar. Oh god, did it look pretty good?
And it wasn't a bar, it was more like a lump.
Well, it was a lump of shit.
A lump of peanuts.
But it had chocolate, peanuts, and caramel.
I guess I quickly checked out the story. The story was that when he was traded to the White Sox, he thought Chicago was a bit of a second-rate town to New York City, which I guess probably is.
Probably back then,
it still is. That's
that's not... We don't know that for sure.
Shout out to both our listeners in Chicago.
We don't
and
know.
all three of you in New York.
Chill, man. Chill.
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
And so in Chicago, the baseball player Reggie, he had said if he'd been signed to New York, they would have named a candy bar after me. It's what he thought was a famous way.
Yeah.
So in Chicago, they contacted a maker of somebody who made these. They were called Willies.
Yeah.
Those chocolates, and they renamed it and repackaged it.
A chocolate Willie?
And that was a chocolate Reggie.
Chocolate Reggie.
Which he was chocolate too, so Willie.
Chocolate Willie.
And chocolate Reggie's Willie was also chocolate.
All I know is that looks like a fucking modern day Nestle turtle.
Yeah.
I wonder who stole whose.
Probably the potential for some copyright infringement there, but it was a sadly for Reggie. It was a short-term venture, so short-term pain, long-term pain.
It looked close to like a cow pie, which I would make from home, which is like a bunch of slop and.
Do you remember those lumberjack
Oh yeah,
lumber
little Chinese noodles.
No, not the noodles.
Chocolate?
They were just chocolate. Yeah. It was the what are they called? They were called lumber snacks, or they used to, no, Cuban lunch. Cuban lunch. But back to Reggie's patties. They only sold them for 3 years. So Reggie's legacy lasted a lot longer than his chocolate bar biz because they stopped making his Reggie's.
And back then, they didn't cancel that stuff right away. Like it took years, right?
I don't know. I don't know. My chocolate bar.
It wasn't as quick as it was today.
Well,
you're selling today. Piss off. You're out.
Yeah.
Back then, it was months.
You don't even have pre-sales. You don't even get a chance to sell your shit. Now you have to prove that you've sold it before it existed.
You needed time, right? Yeah. DVD sales, movie sales, royalties. You had to wait. Yeah. Patience.
Now it's just instant gratification. People just go online and like Patreon. Hey, if you want to go to Musing While Boozing's Patreon account,
real time.
Give us real time. What have you said? Anybody donates $5.
Whatever you say.
The next hour, Mike will.
I will honor your request to 80% of my ability.
That's right. He will give you 80% of anything.
That's a good rate, man.
That's right. Yeah.
It's way more than what
80% of Mike is worth more than 100% of like
somebody
who's not Mike.
Somebody who panhandles.
Yes. Yeah, John Popoff. There you go. It's not 100% not going to help you. But we're going back to Reggie, and
this is all you, man. I got no fucking. You know me, man. You know me. Oh, Pete.
You know me. Anyways, he had a candy bar. Didn't do too well. But one thing we did see in this movie was really cool was the fact that it's 1978 and that Ewok motherfucker looking guy, the little Chewie's little son Lumpy.
Man, I wish I had an AK-47 at that moment.
Just bury his and have a Chewy skin rug. Anyways, he was watching on his computer videos on how to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How-to videos,
The closest we got to that was in in high school, where they had that, Microsoft Encyclopedia, and you'd watch. Remember the first time you see motion video
motion GIFs
on the computer? It was like, oh my god, that's a real picture and it's moving.
It's moving. It moved for like a second. Mm-hmm. That the days were a little bit different back then.
Days of way back. But anyway, so Lumpy.
But back then, at least I could trust the information. Now, Christ, I don't know what's real and what's not.
Just ask me how to.
Ask Wikipedia.
Go to.
Thank God for Bixby,
Snopes, and Bixby. Why Bixby keeps turning on its own?
Bixby, Cortana,
Are you getting one of those like
speakers?
Yeah, those echoes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at what they can do. We have the thermostat that goes with it, like not the same name, but one that connects.
You have a Nest?
Yeah, we do. And so the Nest talks to Alexa, so we can do Alexa Nest and just buy a couple of those plugins.
I hear you need to, if you use it, I don't know if you can configure a library or you need an actual cloud account with like Spotify or SoundHound. Or,
for music, you mean? For on this? Yeah. Well, I don't know. It just occurred to us. We just logged in Amazon. We're Amazon Prime this year, and they actually have a whole Amazon Prime streaming music section.
Oh yes, that's what it was. You're required to have a Prime membership subscription.
I don't know. I have one.
Otherwise, I don't know how you stream your music.
It's still connect because you can have an Amazon account that's not Prime. Like you have to be an Amazon customer for sure. So if you have an Amazon login, it's probably what you need.
Yeah, I hear it's better with the Prime membership.
Yeah,
is all I hear. Better, whatever that means.
I think we would renew our Prime membership next year. So far, right? We've used it enough. My God, it saved our ass this year for Christmas shopping. Just literally didn't have to get off my ass. So I ruined my ass.
Yeah, that's. I still don't understand with all the online shoppers how busy it is out there. Like really, who is still shopping?
Well, I think it's just it's select stuff. Like stuff that you just want to buy in person, or that it's not everything's cheaper online. I mean, I was looking at stuff for today. Pool chemicals certainly are not.
No, you're
Oh
screwed.
my God. Yeah, no, I gotta go locally here. I need some more bromine and stuff for that.
Where do you go?
I'll probably go back to Northwest.
Yeah, Canadian Tire used to carry them, and I can't find them anymore.
No, they have, but I checked their list price today. It wasn't that cheap. If you can catch them on sale, that'd be good. But, so, anyway, I got distracted.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's fine.
I like side stories.
Yeah, we went off the cliff there, but it looked like Lumpy was watching YouTube.
Yes.
Yes, like 40 years? 40 years.
Yeah, 40 years ago, yeah.
40 years before YouTube exists. And what I was trying to get across is that you didn't see that when we were kids on movies and stuff like that. Like that
Ever.
That didn't exist. That whole idea of...
There was a whole idea missed 40 years ago.
Yeah, so there was. It was a precognition indicator of technology that you just didn't see again. You didn't even see it being faked again for a while until suddenly, boom, there's YouTube. Just dial up a video and watch what you want and turn it off. And then just, like the whole that, or call it, information on demand. They were there.
So should we watch a lot of old movies and see if there's any ideas that have not been taken advantage of? Because
sure
there's got to be something, man. I need something.
A couple indications. What else? And then we, speaking of old movies that we could watch, that we could dig something out, because we did that little cartoon in this Mills movie, right?
Yeah.
And so what did that remind you of?
Rocket Robin Hood?
No, that too. Well, a little bit. Heavy metal.
Yeah, it also reminded me of heavy metal, but Rocket Robin Hood was...
Robin Hood. I was trying to find those downloads to show my kids. That was one of the cartoons.
Nobody wants to watch that anymore.
Freaking
Friar
Tuck. I love that it was a whole bunch of little vignettes, like a whole bunch of tiny little stories. It wasn't just like 26 minutes of,
Like in 15 minutes you had 3 stories.
Yeah, it wasn't that bullshit, Or,
it was
a cartoon, Astro Boy,
Mickey Mouse. No, Minnie Mouse.
I just remember Astro Boy because it had this long... It was always on from 8 to 8:30. That's the show Adam would watch when we went to 1100. Or 7:30 to 8, I don't know which one it was. It must have been 8 to 8:30, because I think we only lived 5 minutes from school.
So anyways, it also reminded us of heavy metal.
Heavy metal. So we're talking about a movie we could watch in a future episode. We want to do another review discussion, because we'll get to our final rating here eventually when we talk about at the end here.
We're getting there.
We're just working our way there. About Star Wars: The Holiday Spectacular, which may or may not be the official name.
I think that's pretty real.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that name. Gummies. Yeah. So we could watch heavy metal.
Well, we could watch heavy metal. You know what?
Sounds like we should be watching.
You know what I was disappointed in was that they talked a lot about Carrie Fisher in this movie, and she was in there for like 2 seconds.
Well, it's just the fact that she was in there, and I think that she was in there and she was alive.
Oh, come on, man.
I think 35 minutes ago we talked about the fact that she was banging Harrison Ford.
Oh, well, I didn't really care about that.
Stuck in a loop. Hit the eject button.
All right, let's get on to our next...
so the point being, yes, I think next time when we gather in the same environment where we today we were sampling the Moto 120. What's called the Moto 120?
Moto 120.
We went
Sounds
30.
like a motor oil.
We each had 30.
For the race cars,
Yes, the Moto 120.
The Moto. That's more of an alpha. I see an Egyptian signal there, but, So, yeah.
Tow bars.
Oh, yeah, don't forget about that. That was awesome. Another commercial that we saw was awesome.
Yes. What was it? It was
1978.
All these commercials were the same year.
Oh, yeah. Get your robotic, controllable little robot with FM antenna. And
it had a cool name for it.
Yeah, it was...
something... Direct radio transmission, directional defibrillator, and you could drive your robot around the company. It wasn't called a robot.
Yeah, within 10 feet of being within.
That's right. It was called Tow Bar. Tow Bar, and their selling point was Tow Bar. That's robot spelled backwards.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So if anybody ever owned a tow bar,
I actually would like to own one right now. I would buy it. Not like the Zumba or like the iBot or
Zumba. Just get a drone, man, and we can fly together.
Yeah, that's
Karl's been our force.
Yeah, that's. So what's your rating on this movie?
Oh, we're not there yet. Hold on.
We're not there? You don't feel that?
No, there's more. You got
other ideas.
Well, there was the big finale. There's the fact that they were walking with their red coats into a burning sun.
Oh, the Jesus episode. It actually looked like God, God was welcoming Star Wars.
God was using the Force.
Yeah, it was some kind of weird. I think some religion paid money to actually.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Dune guy, Scientology man.
Scientology.
Throwback to episode 2. Scientology. Yeah, they got a indirect.
Are they back in power again? I thought that was over.
No,
I thought they were dead in the water.
Not looking good. I think the Winnipeg office is closed. And so we talked about the making of the movie. We talked about who was in the movie, which was done in a very 70s like talent-y type style.
Yes.
Then we talked about the hidden meanings in the movie. Hidden bullshit, secret hidden things. And we talked about sort of the commercials, because that's important.
The commercials were significant, actually, part of this. And back in the day, the longest commercial break, by the way, was like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Most of them were like one commercial.
I think this commercial proves something, though. Is the reason we didn't complain about commercials when we were young kids is because back then the TV was so bad, the commercials were
awesome.
Because honestly, I don't think you could watch. I think you mentioned this too.
Yeah.
You could watch this 2 hours without the commercials.
Oh, the commercials are the show.
It was like a time.
That's what actually makes it a passable. Well,
it was the only mentally engaging component, because if you tried to follow that plot,
we tried not being fucked up. We tried being fucked up. I mean, nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody knows the right way to watch this show. It was surreal to me, the entire experience. So you gotta stand back. You're looking at this whole movie, Mike.
Yeah.
And you're saying,
what am I going to get out of it? If
you had to sell this movie to one person, describe to me that customer.
A union worker.
Hey, it's because the commercials on the movie.
Wow, there's big support there.
I don't know. I think there has to be a lot of drugs involved. Someone who is... Are they employed? They're employed.
I actually can't imagine anybody, even a drunken, high, zooming...
Jefferson Starship was... We didn't talk about the half of the movie.
Jefferson Starship
was in a made-up language, and there was no subtitles. I thought maybe I just didn't download the subtitles through the MP.
No, that's a Chewy talk.
There was no subtitles to the Chewy talk. It was just a bunch of bullshit.
I actually can't. Yeah, I can't imagine. There's a few scenes there that the Zoomers might like, but. But overall, I don't think they would have liked it at all.
I don't think the tweakers, the stoners, or the cokers, none of those guys.
They would not have been able to last those. It was too long. It was
and too disjointed.
The intermissions were very long, and it's like, okay, enough with the fucking Chewy.
I was getting paranoid just watching it. So, we talked about. You said going under. There was that. So let's put a bow on this. So overall rating out of 10, Mike.
Out of 10, I will give it a 4.
And I actually probably got to go a little bit lower. I'll say a 3. So that averages out to 3.5.
Oh, yeah.
So our inaugural craptastic rating goes out to the holiday special with a conjoined average rating of 3.5 beers out of 10.
That's it's tough times, man.
Yeah, that's what. How many? Yeah, it's not a good rating. But a couple of things I want to talk about was the fact that. What's your take on something like we found out that a local business here, it doesn't matter to say the name now, Adrenaline Ventures, but they, I guess the bailiff said bills were unpaid. Bank.
Is that CRA or?
No, we don't know where the debt was. No, well, the bank was recalling it, so it had to probably be a line of credit on a bank or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then that might have been used to pay other people, but long and short of it was that they, loan recall, no one, they allegedly, well, obviously didn't make the payment in time. They're alleging they did in the CBC News today. But the point being is that it's closed, right? So it's got me thinking a little bit on the drive home about, any type of specialty, anything
in Winnipeg
always just fails.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like, or I was trying to think of examples of few and far between. Then what does it say about the city? Like,
Agassiz is a prime example.
Oh, but that's again, need a new capital. But again, not even just like skiing, but just anything that's a little unique, or they complain that we don't have it, like a
motocross,
water park, indoor water park, like a big one, which is something they say Winnipeg should definitely have based on our weather.
Why is it?
Well, why?
I'll tell you why. I already know that. I already figured this out.
You're gonna teach me some things.
It's because we're cheap.
Well, yes. That was my thoughts exactly. I was trying to think.
The thing is, though, back in the day, it was all country, so they had to be conservative and frugal, but now there's no such thing. So what's the difference now? We all don't give a shit about debt anymore, so
yeah.
Like, really, why still so cheap? Why? What does it matter? Like,
I know you think we have one of the few growing economies. The province didn't have a huge downturn.
Look at the trampoline jumping place. How that probably will be going under right away too.
Pink Squirrel.
Yeah.
So it's Pink Squirrel. We'd love
They just started. Yeah. But even
so this place lasted 4 years though, eh? 2010. It said 7 years.
Yeah, but well, it's popular with the little kids, right? But I don't know, man. It's tough. I don't know. This environment is one of the toughest places for a startup business to happen. That's unique, right?
Yeah. If it's not generic, I don't know. If you ever want to get Winnipeggers mad, put in the paper the government paid you something.
Yeah.
$1 overspend in this province can get you voted out of power.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's this just doesn't seem logical to me anymore.
That doesn't work because there's so many special interest groups now that everybody, like, there's no one can spend money on anything because you'll piss off somebody else.
Well, yeah, then this whole transparency thing is a PR event, not actual events.
Yeah, or if their government is totally transparent, it makes things paralyzed because you can't piss anybody off.
Yes.
So you're paralysis by analysis, right? A political party has to stride the middle. Well, what happens if they stay in the middle of the road? You don't get out of the way.
We're just headed towards that right now. It's just beginning. It's going to get worse. Until something happens where a few people die is likely what it takes, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but...
What kind of revolution are you planning?
What? Oh, I'm ready, man. I got a few boxes of bullets in my basement.
I can chuck them at somebody. But speaking of conspiracies then, and you going off the deep end, you walked into a trifecta of conversations I had with Wendy today, which was absolutely spectacular. Because I'm not kidding. I woke up, and she basically rolled over, leaned into me.
Yeah.
Stared me in the eye.
She was ready to roll.
And said, honey, what the hell is Bitcoin?
Bitcoin.
And so I did my best to explain what Bitcoin was in terms of, the whole idea behind blockchain and, like, null accountability. And to make sure that, we... explained, how it was taking the third party out of it.
Yeah.
And everything was good. And Wendy just was like, I don't get it. She's not picking up what I'm putting down, this whole story. So then I'm like, okay, well, whatever. And I said, we just left it alone. And I'm at work, and all of a sudden my phone buzzes, and it's Wendy, and she's...
Can we buy a Bitcoin?
Can we buy it? Anyways, she's like, she goes, as per our conversation, Karl, this video. So I'm going to play the audio of this video, at least for a little bit here, and we can listen to somebody talk. Because he does, in a roundabout way, enlighten us a little bit about Bitcoin.
Yeah, I have Bitcoin, and you should too. If you would have bought Bitcoin 3 months ago, you'd have tripled your money by now. You're so stupid for not buying it then. Every conversation I have, I'm telling people to buy Bitcoin. And when I'm not doing that, I'm professing my Bitcoin prophecies on social media. Being a Bitcoin advocate is like the veganism of the financial world. You'll find out where I stand on the matter within 11 seconds of meeting me. You'll find yourself being appropriately belittled if you don't feel the same way about it. Let me explain how Bitcoin works. People worry when there's no gold behind money.
No.
But you don't have to worry about that with Bitcoin, because not only is there no gold behind it, there's no anything else behind it either. So technically it's nothing.
Yes.
But because the good-hearted anonymous people behind Bitcoin release only a limited amount of this nothing, it's worth something. Scarcity is what makes anything valuable.
Yes.
So with Bitcoin, scarcity is what makes nothing valuable as well. Another instrumental part of Bitcoin is the blockchain. It's a ledger that keeps track of Bitcoin and keeps everyone accountable. The blockchain helps cut out the third party of banks that you have with normal money transactions. So it's like a third party that cuts out the other third party, because we don't need a third party in our exchange of rare and precious currencies.
That's right, it's a lot of parties.
Behind Bitcoin is it's an alternative currency to money, which means next to Bitcoin, money doesn't really matter anymore. So the beautiful part about putting your money into Bitcoin is that the value of your money, which doesn't matter anymore, goes up, while the amount of Bitcoin you have, which does matter, stays the same. Now with Bitcoin, I'm all of a sudden the most qualified financial advisor I know.
Yes.
My strong history of no track record and wealth accumulation has given me the experience I need to recognize a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get rich the easy way by investing in Bitcoin.
So
It's given me the ability to tell everyone
was what I woke up to this morning when my day progressed, and Wendy...
And what'd you tell her about the Bitcoin value and
I said that
where it's headed?
Because her rules to me were...
Buy some.
Well, not rules, sorry. Comments were, well, why don't you do something like that? And I thought it was simple enough. She meant me, why doesn't I go buy Bitcoin? And she was implying, no, why don't I just invent something as popular as that?
Oh, one step higher.
Right.
Yes.
I thought she wanted me to invest. She wanted no more spontaneous creativity and on-demand, generationally changing programming and technology advances. If they could please make her rich.
We're not geeks, we're just nerds.
That's right. Big,
Jesus.
big
I
difference.
ain't inventing that kind of stuff. I'm a good copycatter, but...
So, we rehashed that at supper, and we were talking about Bitcoin, and now I'm not sure how the step was made, but suddenly the next topic, because when he starts the conversation with, what is Bitcoin? Well, I make one comment, and she turns to me, what is the Illuminati? You happen to walk in the door about 15 seconds later, but what is the Illuminati? I was like, what? You don't know what the Illuminati is? He's like, no.
The what is?
Yeah, what is the Illuminati? Yes, there was Illuminati, there was Bitcoin, and there was...
Then we knew she only listened to partial pieces of our podcasts, because we fully explained this a while ago.
Oh, no.
What that was.
Well, I'm not sure if our explanation was that clear.
Wow. Please, there was quite a bit of information in there. Valid or not.
The third piece that Wendy questioned to Bill, because the conversation went there, was Illuminati. Well, they've been around, and she said, how long? He says, the 1400s. And I said, as long as the Templars. And he says, what is the Templars? At that point, we bailed on the conversation. Not because it's something Wendy should have known, just because you keep trying to find the basis to build your story on, eventually.
It's just like the little kid story. Why? Why?
What stories we tell? Why? Yeah, so... That was the conversation we had there in regards to the trifecta, and then we something else wanted to cover tonight.
Well, talked a lot about Carrie Fisher not being in the movie. What else? Barely. Like for the 70s, I would expect something.
That's because she was away practicing for her big finale there. Well, I think are we done?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good wrap up for...
I think big shout out again to RADSOCKS.CA /podcast. Check out the sock providers. Shout out to the Moda
Mora.
2020 apple jelly. Mike and I think we got this figured out. So
Yeah, we got a few things figured out now.
we're on the right side of wrong with that equation.
I'm gonna start charting it out on my Excel spreadsheet.
I have to switch you off the sativa.
I need a legitimate license right away.
And shout out to everybody for it is this episode will come out I think on, is it Christmas morning or Christmas Eve?
Somewhere around that jolly time.
This episode will come out on Sunday the 24th, so that means that you are hearing this definitely for the maybe two
last
no
year,
one's
last?
No one's listening to the podcast Christmas. So if you're hearing this at all, you're hearing it after Christmas. I'm sure our downloads are going to suck balls.
Balls.
I like balls.
I got a ball present.
Happy birthday, everybody. We have just invite happy birthday.
Happy birthday to who?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry fucking Christmas.
I don't know what holiday it is. It's Easter. Fucking.
Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a one, and maybe we'll talk to you on the New Year. Keep musing while boozing.
This has been an MK Cast production.
Here's what I'm